Ruth, welcome home.
Thank you.
I absolutely loved Passing. When you first read this script, how did you feel?
I felt like I need to be in this film by any means necessary. But luckily, Rebecca Hall, the incomparable Rebecca Hall, multi-hyphenate, she had asked me to be part of it about, I don't know, we met in New York to discuss it about 4 years ago. And I said, absolutely, whatever it takes, I'll drop anything. And it took her a few years, but, you know, and I kept ringing her, hounding her to make sure, like, no one else had got in.
Don't forget me. Remember me?
Yeah. So, and it's just amazing. It's miraculous sometimes when things come together.
Yeah.
And, you know, this feels particularly miraculous because there was such a beautiful ensemble. Everybody was in love with this novella because it's an screenplay adapted from a book by Nella Larson, and it was published first in 1929.
I heard you say that before, and I went, there is no way this could have been written in 1929.
There's something so modern about it, isn't there?
It's so current.
Yeah. I mean, it's current, but it's also more, it's current in the sort of the themes it's dealing with.
Yeah.
But also it's one of the most modern psychological explorations of friendship.
Yeah.
And female friendship. And that was so beautiful to explore. And, you know, it was very important for Rebecca and Tessa, the wonderful Tessa Thompson, and I to really tease out the nuances and complexities and ambiguities of female friendship, you know. And you see so often it being... we champion sort of strength and solidarity, and that is absolutely fabulous. But we explore less, I suppose, the contrary side of friendship, the ugly side of friendship, maybe. Yeah. You know, how like you're sort of both attracted, but also repelled by, you know, people you adore and love. And there's this idea that, you know, jealousy. This is an interesting theme of jealousy, and you know, how do we deal with those feelings of jealousy that we are told that we shouldn't have, but they're a natural part of human nature, and it's an exploration of. As much as an exploration of all these themes, it's also an exploration of how identity and how much of ourselves we allow to fully blossom, and how much of ourselves we allow to show, and what we hide because of what society really demands of us to hide, and how we present ourselves, and how society is comfortable or uncomfortable with who we are. And you know, a lot of times people feel like they can only show certain facets of themselves in order to survive.
There's a line in this, Irene says it, she says, we're all passing for something, aren't we? Mm-hmm. That struck me.
Yes.
When you heard that line, how did that make you feel?
Well, I think it's the honesty of that, because the interesting thing is Claire is passing for white, a journey that is historically quite common in America especially, but taboo, not talked about, for various reasons. And Claire is the one passing for white, but she's actually the most truthful of all our characters, because she is actually the most, I suppose she is the most willing to be herself entirely, and unafraid to be that. Whereas Irene, who's beautifully played by Tessa.
I love your friendship on screen.
Yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah. Heartbreaking as well.
Yes, absolutely. But she is, in order to sort of live this life where she is a pillar of the community, a mother, a wife, she has had to suppress certain things about herself and hide certain truths about herself. And Claire's a sort of catalyst for the tension that arises when she discovers that that's not an entirely healthy way to live. And when you suppress something, I suppose its urges to bubble up get stronger. And that's her battle. And it's sort of triggered by this luminous being who embraces all aspects of herself, both the ugly and the bad, and how she's attracted to that, but also repelled by that. It's fascinating.
One thing I'm loving about Netflix is it's giving voices to stories we haven't heard in a long time. And we were talking about this earlier, where, you know, we're constantly told you need to find your voice, you need to use your voice. That's actually not the problem.
No.
We know what our voice is.
Yes.
We just need somewhere to use it, don't we?
Yes, we have and know our own stories, and there's no one better to tell them than ourselves. And so when people say, you know, it's important to find your voice, I think marginalised communities have voices. They just haven't been given platform. And so that access to platform has been tough.
Yeah.
And I feel like that is shifting. I think people are realising that we need to hear those voices and listen to them. And I think the need is there, the necessity is there, and I think people are more confident about expressing that need and demanding it, demanding a seat at the table, demanding spaces.
But we need to support that too. And I love that you don't walk the walk. You don't talk the talk, you walk the walk as well. And tell me what you're doing with the University of Limerick.
So Dr. Susan Liddy is a lecturer there, and she has developed the Catalyst Film Festival, which is a film festival that hopes to give a platform to marginalised voices within the film industry here. All kinds of different people, because I think there is such a wealth of talent and such original beautiful stories that need to be told, but we need to encourage those voices, you know, and they're of all ages and all abilities and disabilities, and, you know, because I think within like marginalised communities there is an enormous amount of intersectionality, you know, and I think, you know, that this film festival hopes to explore that.
You get to do some really cool things in this job, get to tell so many different stories. Tell me about MacBeth, Broadway, Daniel Craig. Are those three words you thought you'd be uttering?
Not really. Yeah, I mean, I haven't absorbed that totally yet. But
how did you find out about that? Like, how does that happen?
Well, my agent emailed me and said, how do you feel about playing Lady Macbeth with it? I'm not sure if he told me Daniel Craig was playing Macbeth, or I said, well, that depends on who the Macbeth is. And then I must have said yes.
And then you hear Broadway, like...
Yeah, I mean, I haven't played Broadway. We did Hamlet at St. Anne's Warehouse, which is an absolutely beautiful theatre and beautifully run and just amazing. That's one of my favourite places in the world. But I haven't done Broadway yet, so it's the first, and I'm very, very excited. And I'm thrilled, you know, to work with Sam Gold. I hadn't worked with him before, and he's an amazing director. So, and yeah, I'm just super excited. I'm really excited.
I remember talking to you, now I can't remember when it was years ago. It was here in Ireland, Bagot Street, a really old, dingy room. That Ruth was starting her career. When you were starting your career, did you think it would look anything like this? Did you allow yourself to dream that this would be happening?
Oh, yeah, you have to allow yourself to dream. I mean, sometimes your dreams are the only sort of, I don't know, they're sort of an internal currency, you know, they kind of keep you paid during the bleak times, you know. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, yeah, but, you know, you know that it's not clear cut, and it's not, you know, you don't just want something and it happens, you know, it doesn't, you know, this is an industry where, you know, and to be honest, it doesn't always matter how talented you are. Your talent isn't always out. There's a lot of other factors at work, but I've been extremely lucky. you know, and I have
And
an amazing
hardworking.
team.
Can we?
Yeah,
like,
well,
it's
no,
not
that's
just
definitely
luck.
true.
Yeah.
I have an amazing work ethic. My family have an amazing work ethic, and I'm very grateful to them for instilling that in me, because, you know, it makes a difference, you
Yeah.
know, and I love working. I love it. So I feel very lucky. And these things, you know, when they come around, then they happen. There is, you must allow yourself, you know, that period of glee when you're just so happy and thrilled before the terror sets in, because
Yeah.
that is inevitable.
What's the night like? The night before? Actually, not even the night before. You're in your dressing room, and they're like, Ruth, take to the stage. How are you feeling?
Oh, listen, you'd nearly need a bucket. Strategically placed around the stage. You know, that happens. I've heard of many of actors like just having an emergency bucket
Are you
somewhere. Yeah,
serious?
absolutely. The nerves just get you, you know. I mean, I don't think they recede. They get worse for me, definitely. And I think that's just the terror gets worse. I think I think the bliss of youth is that you kind of are just so thrilled, the kind of that, you know, I don't know. But I think the important thing is you don't try to like erase the nerves. That can't happen. You sort of have to integrate them in. And they can be brilliant for your performance. You know, they can give you an edge. So, you know, it's all about integration really, because fear, if you try and like suppress fear, just sometimes it just comes back bigger, you know what I mean? And you just have to sort of welcome it in, you know, and have tea with it.
I don't want to make you more nervous, right? But at least when you're on set, if you go on set, you're doing, you know, a couple of scenes, you forget your lines, you can go again.
Yeah.
But Ruth, the stage, there's a live audience and you're doing the whole thing in, I'm telling you what you already know, but
it's sickening. No, but there's something, I don't know, there's something beautifully thrilling about it as well, you know, because, you know, the other side of fear is like excitement. So, you know, I think there's nothing better than that feeling on stage when, you know, you're shifting the atmosphere, you know, and you can feel it change, smell it change, hear it change. That's beautiful, you know.
There's another line in this that really caught my attention in passing. And it's Claire. I think it's when she first runs into Irene, or it's the first couple of encounters they've had. And she says, I want so much to be around Negroes again, talk with them, laugh. I've been away so long, I've almost forgotten. That actually almost made me cry, because I just want to be with my Italians, with my Greeks, and just experience that culture again. How do you feel when you are home with your people? Like, what do you miss most about, is Ireland still home?
Yeah.
What
but, you know, I think when you sort of are like, I've been a Rolling Stone my entire life, you know. I feel like there's many places I call home, but I feel like for me, Ireland, just the land, the earth itself is very invigorating for me. And I don't know, I feel definitely an ancestral connection. And I say when I go to Ethiopia, which I haven't been to in a while, you know, there's definitely the ancestral kind of energy that greets you, and that's powerful, you know. And for me, that's my connection to home, as well as my family, obviously, you know. So that's very important. But you do have to, if you travel so much, you know, and you're away from your loved ones so much, you have to create a little home internally, you know, so you don't kind of are constantly suffering from homesickness. But I think for me, belonging is an interesting theme, because it's so important for human beings. We want to belong. You know, that's so important. We kind of, and this film is about that, you know. Claire has she's left her community to pass for white, you know, which a lot of people made that decision, not because they wanted to be white. They just wanted access to a life that perhaps that was not within their reach as a black person in America for centuries. You know, first of all it was slavery, and then it was the black codes, and then Jim Crow, the deconstruction of Reconstruction, etc., etc. And you know, that hasn't disappeared. That's what we're still fighting for today. But I think what I think about with people who passed, you know, and many left their families behind completely, and there was a severance. And I think what a desperately sad situation, that you must turn your back on your family in a way. And, you know, I think what our film shows is that longing to belong somewhere, to go home, to find mother, you know. And and how that was denied so many people. But that resonates with me a lot, you know. And the other thing in our film which resonates as well, and a lot of people resonates for us, is this idea of safety and being safe. Because I think that's all we're looking for as humans, is to feel safe. And it's really a tragedy, an unforgivable tragedy, that so many people aren't safe in this world.
Yeah, it really is. I could talk to you forever, but we're being wrapped. So I'm just going to say thank you so much for taking the time, and thank you for this gorgeous film.
Thank you ever so much. It's been a pleasure to be here with you.